Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally rather belatedly getting around to doing the 8 More Pen Questions 2025 #video hop, which was created by Simone. I'm sorry if I'm a bit later than most of the other videos seem to have been, but as a full-time writer, I have so many other things I have to get around to. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ursula. My real first name is Anna, but I've long preferred my middle name because it's just like so much more unique and distinctive. Most of my content is related to booktube and authortube, so like books and writing. And my number 3 type of content is like pens and inks, but unfortunately I do not yet have an overhead tripod, so I look more professional in filming. I'm just so conflicted about all the reviews I read. Some say, yeah, awesome, perfect, after 5 years still going strong, and some say, oh, 3 months in it like fell down and conked me on the head, or the battery busted out after all of 10 weeks, something like that. So I just don't know what to believe, what's really going to be great for filming that kind of thing in the long run. But so anyway, I'm gonna start getting down to the questions. This is completely unscripted, apart from the brief little like script to read off the jumping off points in the questions. And this is my 4th time attempting to film this video. Hopefully I will not having to prematurely end it, because I feel like I'm embarrassing myself and acting too amateurish. So number 1, do you have different uses for different pens? Well, some feel most fitting in certain seasons, and this is also pretty much the answer to question 2. You know, one of the obvious examples is autumn leaves. For this was a Gold Spot Retro 51 exclusive for the autumn, and I will be talking a bit more about this pen a little bit later on, and just what are these other colors. Like this is confetti milkshake from Benu. I'm sorry about the crappy lighting. I have only have so much control over where I film. This is a perfect summer pen. This is one of my currently inked pens. And I'll pull out my pen cases to talk about some of the pens. I should know this script by heart, since this is my 4th time attempting to start off the videos. Where am I? This is totally backwards again. I look so damn amateurish. This was my first Esterbrook Essie. I had to get this. This is the Maui. It just reminds me of like a rocket pop, the popsicle you get in the summer from the ice cream truck, with the beautiful red and the green and the white. So, you know, perfect summer pen. This is the Benu Hanukkah Talisman, the beautiful icy blue, and of course Hanukkah and the winter holidays, great winter pairing. I think like icy blues are really good for the winter time. And this is one of the ones that just called to my heart. Like the moment I saw Dia de los Muertos, this was a Cult Pens exclusive from Benu. I love everything about Halloween and spooky season, the macabre, like classic horror movies, like horror stories, like ghost stories, the paranormal, the unexplained, the occult. Just like this had to be mine. I just love it so damn much. Oops, sorry. My workspace will look so much more cluttered after this is done. And this is Spring Sky from Sailor. I have a video about this, talking about I thought this really wasn't meant to be, even though I had wanted it a lot, because it seemed to be sold out everywhere, and the price was kind of like higher for my standards at the time. And then finally, the latest Don't Miss the Boat Sailor sale, I finally found it for a great price in a nib size I love. The color isn't really showing up true to what I'm looking at in the camera, but maybe when I play it back it'll look a little bit better. So this is like, you know, a great spring pairing. And I'll pull out my other pen case to show you guys more pens which I use in different seasons. Hopefully I won't forget anything. And this is St. Patrick's Day, the Liquid Luck pen. This is a Leonardo Momento Zero from Pen Chalet exclusive. I also have a video about that. And where are my browns? My brown pens. This is Dream Bean. These are all Benu. This is the Earl Grey tea, and this is a Tiger's Eye. I wasn't surprised. I was not expecting to fall in love with these brown pens so much, or brown as a color in general, but you know, I just thought it would be perfect for, particularly in the autumn seasons and the early winter, the lovely earth tones. And like Opus 88 in particular has a lot of really great seasonal designs, like the fall leaves. Again, that's pretty self-explanatory. The Sakura, that's great for like spring and early summer. This is the Celestial Zodiac. I'm sorry if it looks kind of blurry and the lighting isn't so great as I'm pulling it closer. Like the beautiful icy blue, again, great for winter and late autumn. And of course, Let It Snow, that's pretty self-explanatory. And I will have a video in future talking more about detailed full pen tour. And this is Dracula. This was, I think it's a Momento Magico from Leonardo, the only non-Momento Zero in Leonardo's line, which I currently have. This was another Pen Chalet exclusive. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous, like blood red type of color, maybe the Bloody Mary. Maybe this would be great. Another Benu, it's one of my favorite brands. This would be perfect for, later summer, like a summery type of drink. But, I could go with like spooky season types of pens all year long. Let's see, and another part of this first question. I use my mediums and broads to show off shimmer and sheening inks to their best possible properties and to better see certain colors that come out too light or muddied in finer nibs. I mean, nothing personal against you if that's the only type of nib size you like, the fines and the extra fines. And I do know, like from personal experience, you can still see like shimmer and sheening in those finer points. But like if you're going to like splurge or whatever, just like get that ink like to begin with, like wouldn't you want to showcase to the best possible extent to see that shimmer just like popping and popping off of the page instead of just, oh, I'm seeing it a little, it's subtle. But no, I want to see it like fully, saturated, get in my face with that like golden, like, shimmer against a teal background and it's sheening red in certain lights or like blue or purple or whatever else it does. Like that's the reason for me to, get really much larger nibs. And some, colors, I'm not really a fan of super light colors. I'll get into that later on the questionnaire. But for example, like pink, that's a particularly persnickety color. It can look, borderline or even like outright unreadable and really extra fine or fine nibs. But when you put it into a medium or a broad or above, like, wow, that's really eye-popping. Now I see why people actually love that ink and they choose to write with it all the time, like because it becomes like more saturated in the larger nib size. It just like, I love, color theory and seeing how colors react differently in different pens. I'm also an artist, but not a professional artist. And number 2, like piggybacking off of number 1, how do you choose the inks and pens you will use next? Seasonal, as I was just explaining, browns and oranges in autumn, reds and pinks in spring, designs matching seasons and holidays, like kind of like reds could also go well for the summer. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I just said that. I sound like a total stooge. And like, ice blues are like a great color for the autumn, and like, the summer, like use your choice, reminding me of an ice popsicle, one of the ones I like, or like the confetti milkshake, or just like fun, happy, like sunny summer type of colors for the summer. Then I say, yeah, the designs matching the seasons and holidays. And another reason, like just wanting to use the new pens right away, although sometimes it depends. Like if you have, let's say 7 pens already inked and you get a new one, maybe you'll just like dip test it a little bit for your video if you like to do the videos of the new pens, or just for your own personal use to see it right away. But you won't like ink that pen up and just like wait until a bit later to use it. Or it's like sometimes, like if you have like get maybe like 10 bottles of ink, let's say from a sale or something, you're probably not going to want to ink all of them up, because that just creates more and more pens you have to write dry. I'm learning from that like experience myself. I'm becoming much more deliberate and choosy and conscientious about how many pens I have inked at a time and the inks which I am currently using. So number 3, which pen do you prefer for longer writing sessions? Now, this was one of the ones that took me the longest to put an answer to. That was one of the reasons I took so long to get around to doing the video. I just like couldn't think of what to write for a couple of these, because it's so personal from person to person. And I myself also don't really have, oh, this is the one I always and only use for longer writing sessions because of X, Y, and Z. So, whatever feels comfortable, no real preference towards one specific pen or brand. But if I like had to choose, maybe I would say, Leonardo feels like really good in the hand. This is one of 7 Leonardos I have. This is features in my currently inked video and the unboxing. I'm, still like learning to like get more used to the design. I wouldn't say I hated it, but it's just, I personally wished it had been more of like the blue and the pinky instead of this like, muddled, gravelly looking like purple, muted violet and black thing that looks like a fossil on the side facing me as I'm holding it when I'm writing. I just wanted to show you guys, like, I usually don't use only one pen for longer writing sessions. This is like, I've probably written longer, like journal entries. I'd have to go back and check, obviously, when I was younger and such. But in recent memory, this is the longest entry I have ever remember writing, this was like 6 pages. I just counted up. I wrote like, 9 different pens for like writing this, and like, changes from, color to color as I wrote, like all these like memories. It took 23 years to finally write about like only one of the most important like landmark historical like tragic days in history. I have like a couple of videos talking about how I dissociated big time, not to get like too off topic, but I used 9 different pens with all the different inks, because this was like such a long entry. Oh, my arm was hurting like so much by the end of that. So it all depends. Like maybe I only would want to use one pen for like a longer entry if I had nothing else, but now that I have many pens to choose from, it just feels like so much better to just like vary it up with like different types of inks and like pens, and it's just, it makes an entry more personal. So where were we? Is this number 4? What is your all-time favorite pen? Now, my most recent pen, I cannot see this, getting displaced anytime soon, and I did have a video about this. It took a while to put it up because I was like filming it in 2 different parts. This is a Ether from Visconti. This pen wrote like a damn dream from the first time I used it. It was a great sale from Pen Chalet for their annual April Fool's Day sale. I was not expecting to find that at all. And the reason I decided to do it in 2 parts of this cap is so heavy is because, like, if you're not living under a rock, like, about the Visconti quality control issues over the years. So I wanted to be sure, it writes well in the long term, not just when, happy, like adrenaline, like blissful clouds, oxytocin, whatever, when you're first writing with it and experiencing it. I want to make sure, like after a week or a month or whatever, I'm still jiving with it and absolutely loving it. And it's been a damn dream the entire time. It's just like so perfect. I have so many pen cases out. I probably won't be showing all of them, and it writes differently with a different width size depending on what I'm writing. For example, I think it looks more like an extra fine when I use it on Clairefontaine because of the way this type of paper absorbs ink. I have a video also talking about this. I didn't read it in Old English. I just read the modern English translation of it. You guys can check that out in my more recent videos. And I do like how it's able to, it squeezes more letters into a single page. I had to start over so many times on writing this because I just wanted the first paragraph to get onto the one page, so I could then put the modern English translation on the following page right next to it, so I can learn Old English. And it really goes well even on printer paper, as I said in the video talking about it. Like, see, this is just the regular paper, and when you like flip it over, look, you don't really see like anything, maybe a tiny bit of ghosting that only appears as it is because of the light's shining on it. But look, it's just so perfect. Like, so even sheet printer paper in the new journal I just started the other night, it does look like extra fine again on this thing. I should probably do like I'm overdue to do a video about my journaling over the years. So it's just such a versatile nib, like totally perfect. But of course, in addition to favorite pens, there are also, like most sentimental, most, personally like meaningful. Like one of my other favorite pens before I got Ether was Rongoli from Leonardo Momento Zero. Another surprise there. That's one of my favorite brands. It's just, I think this was my was it my first or my second Leonardo? It was just like, well, I got them in short succession because I love the brand so much. The Foresta Umbra might have been the first. It writes so well. I have a whole video about this, and it's just I love this pen. It just like it's pretty much been kept in near constant rotation ever since I got it. Everything about it is like wonderful, particularly the beautiful purple. So things, as you get more pens, like sometimes you can forget the old standbys you had, but like if you love a pen that much, you're going to keep writing with it, even if you have like a 1,000 pens, which I'm like dollars to donuts. I will never have nearly that many. And the 19th birthday pen from Benu, that was a Cult Pens exclusive. I have a whole video about that. It was also my 300th video last September. I got this for like so many reasons that were so meaningful to me, and particularly the number on an 819. That was just the icing on the cake of like meaningful dates to the meaningful numbering to the reason which I got it. And the Autumn Leaves pen from Retro 50 one. This is one of my most meaningful. I kind of think of this as like Raisel's pen because I use this for like writing all the scenes with my character Raisel in my in my 99% handwritten magnum opus. Just like open it to a random page and show you. It's like permanently inked with what is it, fire embers from like diamine. This is like a perfect beautiful pairing. I'm sorry I'm blanking. I'm just like so excited talking about my favorite pens, but it's an extra fine, and it feels more like I guess a fine on this type of paper, but definitely in my top 5 of favoriteest pens, even long after I have gotten it. I just so many things I love about that pen. I could not imagine ever putting another ink in it now. Number 5, if you have to choose one nib size, which would it be? Well, I would say a fine for like regular writing. Depending on the type of paper, maybe I would want to go down to an extra fine, like if it were very non-fountain pen friendly type of paper. But I think I've grown to prefer like fine for a great all-purpose. But going back to number 1, if we're talking about showing off ink with special properties or a particular type of color that just doesn't look that great. I'm not saying like great as in it look not great as in it looks horrible, but it's not showcased to its fullest, greatest extent the way I personally would prefer it. I would definitely go medium if you're talking about showing off the ink with special properties and like broads. It's still a very learned taste for me. Like learned taste I think is the word for it, but I'm really not into broads at all. Like so going above medium isn't really my jam at the moment. I could change, although I did recently get a lovely 1.1 stub nib in the silica from Atlas. This is an Atlas exclusive with Delta. This is a Delta Duna type model. I love this so much. Like a special type of nib for a special type of pen, like a white pen. Wow, where did that one come from? Number six. What is your favorite nib grind? Now, cursive smooth italic of the 3 pens, which I currently have custom ground. My Hanukkah talisman is a curved architect, which really helps me for writing Hebrew with it. That's one of the main reason I had it ground down to that. Besides, broad was way too comfortable for me. So when I write Hebrew letters, architects are made for writing Hebrew, and because it's a curved architect instead of a regular architect, it's easier for writing cursive. And my George Washington pen from LeBoeuf is what do you call it? A Concord, and the cursive smooth italic from the 19th birthday pen from Vanu. It made it even like more special. Like open up to the page where I have like, here's like this is what the curved architect obviously looks like, and that's the LeBoeuf George Washington. You can see it in Concord. That's a really nice thin. Like technically it's like a needlepoint, only the nib is curved under. And where did I have a writing of the cursive smooth italic after I had it ground? Did I write where I had it ground down, or I can just put something in it after. I'll show off something in my journal that, not in my journal, I'm sorry, totally unscripted, but just something that looks, this is the end of the translation of what King Alfred the Great wrote like all those centuries ago in the late 19th century. This is with the cursive smooth italic. It gives such an awesome flair to the handwriting, and I asked for a wet writer. This was custom ground by Mark Bacchus, and I'll show you guys what the Concord nib looks like on George Washington. I still have yet to do a video about my custom nib grinds. That's one of many things it's on my queue when I finally get the overhead tripod, so you guys can see it's kind of like curved down like that. Most people would say, oh wow, you broke your pen, or this will never be fixed. No, it was purposely like ground into this, and like into a little hook type of thing. And so this pen was not writing well at all on any type of paper I tried it on. I could feel it like digging into the fibers of the papers, and now it writes so smooth since it was ground down like that. But my number 1 favorite nib grind is the cursive smooth italic. I'm sorry if this video is getting a bit too long. Number 7, if you could only use one ink for the rest of your life, what would it be? Like the Diamine Pansy. This is what I've been like showing you guys in so many of the the samples. Like this is the pansy ink, and it like shows up differently depending on the paper texture. And of course, like it looks more extra fine on this than on other types of paper I've used it on. So it can look more of like a deeperish, smoky grayish purple, I guess, on other things, and some types of paper can look more like a bright, happy, cheerful purple. What was I going to show? Oh, right, the ink. It's in the flowers line from Diamine. I thought this was a Cult Pens exclusive, but no, that's only one of the Diamine flowers inks. I'm not going to take it out because the slips of paper always fall down when I, take them out. This is the Pansy ink. I love it. This is one of my absolute favorite shades of purple, and I also love the iris. I love purple ink in general, and blue is my second favorite color, but definitely the Pansy is permanently living in the Visconti ether, but not just because it's like so much harder to clean a vacuum filled pen than it is a regular pen, but it's a great purple. I would highly recommend it. And this ink set, I got it last year for their Cult Pens summer sale. It's number 8. What is an absolute deal breaker for you for a pen, for ink? And now for the ink, that's obvious. I already mentioned inks too light to read back. I mean, they could be great for like art, but if I'm talking about something I'm using like realistically and practically for everyday writing, not a highlighter or painting with it, I'm going to want something I can actually see that's not going to make my eyes twitch. For example, the Mango Mousse from Monteverde. This is a really light, like very light orange / dark yellow. This, maybe it will look differently on different type of paper, but it's just not the kind of ink I would feel like this is my go-to ink. Yeah, absolutely. And then there was, that was a Lemon and Lime, that's what it was called last year from, I think it was day 7 of ink. Oh, look, you can barely read this. It's more like a highlighter or a fun art ink to play around with at the top of the page. Yeah, it's pretty, but it's just like, who's actually choosing this as his or her go-to? Yeah, that's the ink for me type of thing. It's like so light yellow. Not a fan of yellow inks in general. And the deal breaker for pens, unethical dupes. Like, hey, if you enjoy your like dupes, like rock on. If for whatever reason you like them, like none of my business. Spend your money however you want. But for me, it's as a writer, for example, like I would be so upset and furious and just angry if I saw, oh, someone took the book I spent so much time writing and they published it under a different title, and they changed all the characters' names and maybe the tiniest tweak of a couple of details here and there, but I can tell it's still obviously my book, and they just grabbed my hard work and just slapped a different name and a couple of barely changed details on it and called it theirs. That's not okay. It's like intellectual property. I just don't like seeing, oh, this is a near lookalike to Lamy, or it's like an obvious like copy for point by point of like whatever other like pen brand you can think of. These dupes like decide to copy. Yeah, okay, they're not pretending it's actually Lamy or like Mont Blanc or whatever, but it looks identical except for they slap their own brand on it, or like the nibs don't write as well, but everyone knows they're just copying it. They're not trying to make their own original pen. And I really, despite what Reddit insists, I really care less which country happens to be producing most of these. I would feel the exact same way if they were made in like, Germany or Italy or like the US or Canada or England or anywhere else. It has nothing to do with like being against like, the country and the ethnic group of origin making these pens. It's the underlying principle of like stealing, like misrepresenting like, someone else's intellectual property they worked hard on creating and marketing and like fine tuning over the years and building up like a trusted brand, and these people like just rock on up and, oh, hey, we're gonna steal it. Oh, yay, it's only $5. All these people say, I'm so happy. Like, you do not have to spend an arm and a leg on a pen. Like, there are so many great pens you can buy like under $50 bucks that do not involve stealing someone else's intellectual property. And I know this issue makes me so angry. And like the other type of pen that's a deal breaker for me, I really don't like to get political on this channel. That's not what, this channel is about. But I will never be able to buy any Kilk pens, at least for the foreseeable future, because I will not buy anything made in Turkey, at least that I know is made in Turkey. Like sometimes, unfortunately, you like get a surprise. Oh, these like hazelnuts were like harvested in Turkey, but because I have been an Armenophile for 30 years now, this April made it 30 years, and I stand with the Armenian people and until Turkey admits what they did to them. I don't know if like YouTube would bounce me or get me in trouble if I say the word, but you know the word for what they did to the Armenians in 1915. Until their government stops denying what they did and, like apologizes, like makes amends, quits teaching it in schools. Like 91% of the Turks believe it never happened. Until that comes to pass, I will not buy anything made in Turkey. So unfortunately, Kilk pens are absolutely beautiful. I would love to get one of them because they have so many great designs, but it's just, for me, again, it's an ethical thing. I stand with the Armenian people, and I'm not going to contribute to the Turkish economy in any way until they own up to what they freaking did like over 100 years ago. It's now 110 years ago. And bonus, what is one pen everyone should have? And this is, again, something, it varies from person to person. I know, for me, the Lamy was the like introductory gateway pen, but other people, that 3-fingered grip thing is like a deal breaker for them. Let me pull out one of them. Like, and it all depends. Some people might say this is like, totally perfect for me, and others like, I don't like being forced to hold the pen in exactly this way. I want a smoother grip section, and other people might not like the way this cap goes, and I obviously do enjoy this brand. And other people like, they don't like Conklin pens because of like quality control issues, or they just don't like, maybe the size of a particular pen. Regardless of the brand, it's too like slim to hold in the hand. Like, Pro Gear Slim can be kind of like smaller. They wouldn't like the Minima, but or the faceted type of the Astro Gems. This is not everyone would like to hold a pen with this kind of like faceted. They just want like a smooth round barrel. So I guess if I had to answer this question in a pinch, I would go with Leonardo, because it's so smooth, and you can get them at multiple different price points. It's just, so comfortable to hold in the hand for, longer sessions. If you are going to be doing longer sessions, it's not too big and not too small, not too thick and not too thin. So this is definitely like one of my like right up there brands. And I guess like Retro 51 also has a lot of nice brands, if you don't mind, like a metal pen. This is kind of small, and you can't really post it because I don't want to runk the artwork, but its barrel is so nice and smooth, unless there's like, engraving on it that might feel like aesthetically uncomfortable or a texture issue. But this is just, I love this, how smooth it is. And this is like a really good pen for, longer sessions as well. Now I have to go clean off my workspace after I finish filming this video and belatedly go down to lunch. So yeah, we're going to use eight more pen questions in the video description. I'll be putting my thing up on the playlist as soon as I get my thumbnail and uploaded. So thanks for watching all the way through to the end. Hopefully this was not too scatterbrained and all over the place or way too long. Let me know down in the comments, do you guys have any of the pens I do? Do you like some brands I mentioned? Do you have the opposite opinion of some things I do have? And remember my beliefs about the not buying anything Turkish. That's completely non-negotiable. It's a hill I will die on. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not going to change my mind because you like tell me like propaganda about it, whatever. I stand with the Armenian people. So again, like, thanks for watching all the way through to the end. Please leave me like respectable comments. And again, like about the overhead filming tripod, I would love advice about that. So again, thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.